Welcome to the Orange Belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu curriculum for children. This first move you're going to see is a sweep from the guard when the opponent is trying to pass the guard, standing. So silent. If I have your help. He's my guard, and if I don't do anything, whenever he stands, he's going to pass my guard. So he put his hand on my belly and start quickly to try to break my guard to pass. Before he does that, I bend my knees and hold his heels. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my knees together to push against his belly and pull his heels toward me, and he'll fall. Like that. Okay? Let's see that in a different angle. So I'm going to try to pass my guard. I open the guard, put my knees together, hold his heels. Push his belly away from me and pull his heel toward me. Then he'll fall. Okay? Great, let's switch off. Same angle. Good. Perfect. That's the sweep from the closer guard. Let's go for the next move. For the same dynamic we just saw, the opponent's trying to, pass the guard. I hold his heel, open my guard, put my knees together, push with my knees against his belly, pull his heels to me. This time, I want to take advantage of that and mount. I cannot just go toward him, mounting from here, because if I go that direction, he can push against my chest, and he has more leverage, and it's going to make me come back, and I'm not going to be able to mount. But when I'm trying to do that, if I put my knee on the floor, stretching the other leg, even though he tries to do that, I'm still going to be able to mount. Okay? Let's see that in a different angle. Okay? He's trying to pass my guard. I hold his heels first, open the guard, push. Instead of going forward, I put my hand on the floor, I drop my knee on the floor, stretching the other leg. This way. If he tries to push me, I still have the angle to mount. And then I establish a controlling position. Next technique, let's start in my guard. This technique, it's a sweep from the guard as well, but before the opponent stands up trying to escape. What I'm going to do from the guard here, I want to roll to my right side, can be left, doesn't matter, and I want to support the weight of my body without opening the guard at this point, on my elbow. Then I'm going to move my hand over his shoulder, raising my body, stretching this arm, doing this. Then I open the guard and reach his belt. Okay, now I lift my hips a little more and turn my head to the floor, flipping my hips, mounting him. And then I have a lot of submissions from here. Okay, let's see that in a different angle. This is my guard. I turn to the side, put my hand over his shoulder, stretch his arm, open the guard, grab the belt. At this point, if I go fast, this position is compromised. I just have to flip my hips, keep holding the belt, and I have the mount position. Okay? So let's try to do that. Good. Let's try a different angle. Let's put your head right here. the sweep from the closer guard. Let's see now Kimura submission whenever the opponent tries to defend from the previous attack. So, side please. Here's my guard, and I'm going to try to do the previous sweep. Okay, I put my elbow on the floor, turn to the side, stretch my arm, raise my hips, grab his belt, and he put his hands there. I'm not going to be his hand on the floor. When he posts his hand on the floor, I don't have the leverage to roll over him anymore. So I come to the side, my hand, I get my chest closer to his armpit, I transfer my hand under his armpit, and I bring my chest closer to grab my own lapel. So I trap this arm. I come back to the guard, holding his own wrist, locking the guard. Now I let it go the lapel, and I hold my own wrist. And now what I do, I move this hand toward his head, applying the Kimura from the closer guard. Let's see that in a different angle. I turn to the side, stretch my arm, open the legs, and he posts his hand. I get closer to his chest, grab my own lapel, comes back to the floor, close the guard, hold his wrist. Now let it go to the lapel, hold my own wrist, turn my body a little bit to the side. Forgot to mention that before. And now move his head toward his hand toward his head. Okay? So, boys, let's try now. Good. Put your hand to the fan. Grab your own lapel. Hold your wrist. And go for the Kimura. Very nice. Let's switch. Put on the floor, same position. Okay. Hold the lapel. Hold the lapel. There we go. That's Kimura from the closer guard. Okay, let's talk now about S-mount position. If you can lay down there. Okay, from the previous sweeps, we ended right here. So it's time to explore again position that you saw on the other previous DVDs. The S-mount position and what you can do from there. So S-mount position, I put my hand on the side of the lapel, hold his arm up to be able to move my knee around his arm. Put my hand on the floor, my knee slide off his head, drag my foot alongside his body, going under his armpit. So I have this, and I drop my knee on top of his body, controlling him very well for this position. As you see, I have an S shape here. So this is the S mount, the S mount, I'm sorry. Now from here we have, if I put my thumb inside his lapel, I have a choke. Easy to do. Or we can go for a traditional bar I did previously, and I'd like to explore this a little more. So this arm bar, I don't necessarily need to hold the arm at this point. All I'm gonna need to do is learn how to position my body better. So in a situation like that, nobody's gonna be being attacked with his legs flat. Probably they're gonna have their knees bent, trying to find a way to push me that way to escape. So I wanna put more weight on top of their bodies. So how I do that? At this point, I don't think it would be a good idea to let it go this leg and try to bring over his body to apply the arm bar, because by doing that, he would, whenever I'm doing a transition with the leg, he would be able to push me that way. Example, like when I'm doing this, I lost my balance, and he would be trying to escape at this point. Now, to make sure I have a good control from the S guard, which is a good guard, I wanna, instead of moving this leg at this point, I want to establish more control in this position. So I'm going to apply the arm bar, but I'm still not holding the arm. I'm just going to move my head toward that knee, dropping my knee on the floor even more, applying more weight on top of him. So I'm almost on top of him. Now I can move my leg over, safe, grab his arm, put my knees together, and stretch his arm, provoking here an hyperextension of the elbow. Just a little detail about this position. So now I would like them to demonstrate the armbar from the S guard. There we go. Let's switch now. Let's turn your head this way. Straight. And there's the armbar from the S. Okay, let's go see now triangle from the closer guard. Silence in my guard, right here. Okay. I hold both of his sleeves, push one sleeve against his belly, pull the other one across this way. Put my foot in the hip and move my leg over his shoulder behind his head. At this point, I switch grips, holding behind his head with my chin. Lock the leg, my forefinger. When I choke, I squeeze my knees together, pull his head down, and choke him, provoking the tap. Okay? So let's see that in a different angle. Hold both of his sleeves, push one against, or it can be even the wrists. Push one against his belly, put my foot in the hip. I can move my hips a little bit to bring my leg over and behind his head, over his shoulder behind his head. Switch hands, grab behind his head on my chin, lock my legs in figure 4, bring his arm this way, hold behind his head, squeeze my knees together, move my hips up, and heel tap. Okay, now let's see you guys doing that. Good. Let's try a different angle now. Let's move your head this way. Good. Okay, good guys. Of course, triangle can be done in different ways, but I think this is a good beginning to start learning different positions later. Let's see now choke from the guard. So, please, Sally, come over here, Sally, see? So, whenever I'm going to start doing a choke from the guard, I first have to open his lapel. I grab this hand, with this hand, my thumb inside his lapel. Then I have space now to put 4 fingers, not the thumb, 4 fingers inside, slide, and I go behind his head. Okay? Now, this other hand, these 4 fingers, I'm going to go under this first arm, and I'm going to try to put my thumbs together behind his head. Okay? Open up, thumb inside, 4 fingers inside behind his head, under this arm, touching my thumbs. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to move my arms against his neck, this way. That's the motion I'm going to do, this way. I'm not holding and pulling down, opening my elbows. No, I just twist against his neck. So open here, 4 fingers inside, hand under this other arm, touching. Now at this point, the pressure is already big. All I'm going to do is a little adjustment, and it's a big choke. Okay? So let's do this show, this a little more detail, this angle here. Okay, hand over the inside the lapel. Okay, fourth finger inside, behind his head. This other hand under the first arm, sliding all the way, touching my thumbs. Now I'm gonna do a twist, and that's the choke. Okay? All right. So let's try now to see how you proceed there. Thumb inside, deeper, touching your thumbs together. Now, twist, and that's it. Perfect. Okay, armbar from the guard. I have my partner inside my guard. In order to do an armbar, I have to consider some things. Both of my hands, I'm going to pull his sleeve toward me. And sometimes the opponent's heavy or sitting on his heels. I'm not going to be able to pull his arm. So I have to use another technique, which is using my legs around his body to move his upper body as well, so I have the arm closer to me. After doing that, this way, I'm going to use this hand behind the elbow to hold his arm and move my elbow down, clamping his arm right here. After doing that, this hand, I'm going to grab his shoulder, put my foot on his hip, no gap right here, and I'm going to move his head all the way this way, kicking under his armpit with my knee diagonally. So I pull him down, move his head this way. Now I have an angle to move my leg over his head, slide my hand to my wrist, and stretch this leg here, provoking an hyperextension of the leg. The arm, sorry. Okay, let's do that in a different angle. Again, both hands holding the sleeve. Pull to me. If it's too hard, use my legs to do that. Hold behind the elbow. Drop my elbow down, holding his belt. Foot in the hip. Move my hips a little bit. Push in that way, moving his head. Easy for me now to keep my leg over, bring my leg over his head, hold his wrist, and I never number. Okay, so I would like to see you do that now. Hands. Good. 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 Very nice. That's it. Let's do that in a different angle now. Let's move your head a little right there. Great. Good. Very good. That's it. Okay. Let's go now for the omoplata from the previous movie. When my partner is inside the guard, and I try to apply the omoplata. So let's scoot back a little bit. Here, some more. I try to apply the omoplata, armbar, sorry, from here, holding behind the elbow, clamp his arm, hold right here, foot in the hip, move my hips. So when I have the armbar and he defends pulling his arm up, I'm gonna move, hold his belt, move both of my legs that way, putting his shoulder on the floor. Okay? Now, when I move both of my legs that way, bending my knees. And what I'm going to try to do, I have to move my hips up. Hold on. When I move, the pressure is already a great pressure here. The name is omoplata is because of the name of this bone here. In Portuguese, it's omoplata. But actually what it is a shoulder lock. So at this point, I'm going to do is I'm going to move my head toward his ear, like I'm going to tell him a secret. And I'm going to raise my hips a little bit. When I do that, creates a pressure here around his shoulder that will cause the pain for him to submit. Okay, let's do that again, a little slower. This is the guard. Again, I pull both of the arm bar. One, hold here, foot in the hip, move my hips. Move him this way, and I'm trying, he pulls the arm out. I hold his belt quickly and move my legs this way, stretch him on the ground. Now, I can put my hand under his armpit on the other side to have be closer to him. Move my legs this way, and now I just raise my hips, bringing my knee to the ground and trying to go with my head closer to his ear. Okay? Let's see now you guys doing that together. Let's go slow. Bend your head. Okay. Good. Let's try one more time a different angle. Okay. This side a different angle. Good. Great. Good job, guys. Okay, let's see now from this level a different way to pass the guard. Sally, if you would lay down here, please. Okay, I'm inside this guard. I wanted to see how I do that. And from this, at this point, I'm gonna hold his sleeve, cross grip. The reason I'm doing that here is I don't want to stand up, putting my feet on the floor while holding his sleeve, because he can put his hand here and pull my leg that way, mounting, almost mounting. So I gotta be careful with that hand. So I'm gonna go back, go across, and now I can put my foot on the floor. At this point, he cannot hold it. I'm safe to pass the guard. So I put the other foot on the floor. He's still holding here. I push, pull back, put my knee on the floor, clamping his leg with my foot on the floor and my knee on the floor. Okay? At this point now, I'm gonna let it go this hand, hold behind his head right here, and hold this hand that was holding the lapel, the sleeve, under his leg, right here. So my foot is close here, keep my hips close to his hips, stopping him from moving his hips to escape. It's very hard for him to move now. So at this point, I'm gonna just move my leg to the floor, like that, keeping this foot on top of his leg. This way, even if he moves, trying to escape from me, just because I have this foot on top of his leg, he's not gonna be able to move. At this point, I'm gonna move this left leg, the one is on top of his leg, stretch back, and bring the right knee on the floor, close to his hips, controlling him, side control. Okay, so let's go see that in a different angle now. You guys should see how I'm controlling his legs. So again, cross grip, I protect this foot. Now I can put this foot on the floor, stand up, push, knee on the floor, and as you can see, my foot still on the floor, holding his leg, and the other leg under his other leg, my leg under his leg. I control the movement of his hips. Now I let go of this hand, put my thumb inside behind his head, let go of his sleeve, hold behind his under his leg, change my base, sit on the floor, and as you notice, I keep this foot on top, hooking his leg to follow his body movements. If he drags himself to the wall, I'm able to follow him with my foot, and I still have control. Now I stretch my left leg, and I bring my right leg toward his hips, controlling him with side control. Okay, let's try to do that now, guys. Let's try again, a different angle. And let's try a little slow this time. Slow down. Good. Okay. Good chance. Slow down. Be careful how you move your foot or move your hands. Slow down. There we go. There you go. That's it. And that's the grab from the same position. Let's see now the counter for the sweep. Whenever the opponent is trying to sweep, or someone is trying to stand up from your guard, and you sweep them from that position. Now you saw the level 1. So, Silent, if you could. So here's my guard, and try to do for that escape. Okay, and right here, remember, I hold his heels first, opening my guard to sweep him. Before sweeping him, if he holds close on my neck, my lapel, both my lapels, right here, if I try to sweep him, I don't have the leverage anymore. So that's the counter for that sweep. So I would like to see Sarah doing that. Okay? So see on the ground, he doesn't have the leverage anymore to sweep him. Lift the tail, he's holding the lapel really tight, and that's all. And from here, you're going to see he might be able to pass the guard. Let's try to do that in a different angle. Start over when you're ready that way. Great. Good. And that's it. Would be better idea if you could hold a little closer to his neck. He would have more leverage thing. And he has no angle, no leverage anymore to sweep him. And that's the counter. Okay, let's see now using the previous technique how to pass the guard, avoiding being swept. So when this time you're gonna try to pass my guard, standing up, he's trying to pass, I hope he holds his heel, try to sweep, he holds. Okay, at this point he uses his body, his head going toward my head, squeezing me in the floor, pushing, opening my legs with his knees, and he is to be the one passing the guard and having him out position. Let's see that at a different angle. Okay? So from here, he's trying to pass my guard staying. I open my knees, holding his heels to sweep him, and then he defends. After I'm trying, not doing well here, and then that creates leverage for him to move his upper body toward me, and on a sudden move, bringing his knees between my legs, passing the guard, and coming from the mount position. Now, let's see you guys doing that. If it's done fast, it really works as a surprise for the opponent on the ground. Let's switch the angle a little bit. Move your head that way. Great. And then go from one position. Okay, let's go for the double leg takedown. Side, I need your help. Wait, let's make sure you go on location you can see. Right there. So if the opponent has his legs apart, and I'm in a distance that I can actually touch him, and you're going to train this drill, extend your hands, make sure you touch. Because if you are too far and you try to shoot to his legs, you're probably going to fall too far from him, which will allow him to do a lot of things with you. So make sure you're close enough to touch him. If you want the leg, the foot that's in front of you, that's the one you're going to use that knee from the same leg to drop your knee between his legs. His other foot will fall parallel to his other leg. Okay, so from here, I'll drop my knee between his legs, and the other foot will fall parallel. Now both of my hands will be behind his legs. I use my head to push him that way. I use this leg to stretch, and I lift this leg here up. Holding both of the legs, ready to pass the guard. Keeping him on the ground, keep my head, pushing him down. Okay, let's see that at a different angle. Okay, from here, the same thing. I cannot be that far and try to go here. It's easy for him at this point to push my head down and go to my back. Put the hooks, and then he gets me. So to avoid that situation, let's go back a step. To avoid this situation, I'm going to make sure I have the exact distance. How we do that? First, you start practicing touching the opponent. After a while doing that, you're going to know the right distance without having the need to extend your arm. So, again, if my leg, my foot, front foot is this one, that's the knee I'm going to drop between his legs. If this one, that's the knee I'm going to drop between his legs. So, simple technique we just saw. Can touch him, I drop my knee between his legs, and I bring my foot along. Both hands behind his leg. Use my head to push him that way. Stretch his leg to help, and lift his leg up, holding both of his legs, stretching here, ready to pass the guard. Okay? Let's see you guys doing that now. Okay, let's do one more time. Switch the angle. Right there. Good. Okay, let's see a self-defense move from the self-defense part of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Someone is holding you, please, from behind, actually queen. From behind, trying to drag me to somewhere. And this person is really strong, and if I don't do anything, it's going to be easy for this person to drag me. So the first thing I gotta do now is lower the center of gravity, moving my knee, bending my knees, going down this way. The second step, move my arms, my elbows down too. Is to move this leg between his legs, this way. Now I have the able to hold behind both of his knees. I quickly lift his legs up, and then I go for the knee in the belly or mount position. But I can control him afterwards. Let's go see it again, little slow. So I have him holding me. Quickly, I drop my center of gravity. Now I move my leg behind his legs, this way. Now I have the angle to hold behind his knees, lifting that quick to the floor. He will slide down, and I have controlling position right here, the knee in the back. Okay, so I'll move that way a little bit. Good, let's try one more time. This time, let's pay attention a little more on your base. Okay? When you lower the center of gravity, move down. Great. Move your leg. Lift him up. Knee in the back. Remember, whenever you lift your opponent, it has to be a sudden movement, quick, lifting their knees to the ceiling. Another self-defense move from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm not going to be able to show that on them for obvious reasons. They have smaller bodies. But I'm going to guide them through and do the move. So let's see. When he's going to move here, this way, Sala is going to be behind him, holding this way. So someone is coming close to you, and behind you gets in that situation. So what you should do to defend? He put both of his hands around the neck, create some room for him to breathe. With his right leg, he catches the other leg of the aggressor from behind. Move this foot parallel, that foot to the other side, moving his head to the floor, taking his head to the floor, and then he goes for the knee in the back. Okay, so let's see that again in a different angle, real speed. let's see that now at the angle, facing this side. Yeah. Good. Good. That's the knee belly as a dominant position for control. Another situation to defend from bear hug from the back. So my opponent's partner is holding right here. All I gotta do is open my legs, slap the floor with my hands to make my head is the heaviest part of my body. If when I move it down, it makes harder for the person that's holding me to drag me. So that's the defense. Right here is hard for this person to drag me. So now I drag my hands on the floor, holding one foot, and move this person up. And the person will lose the balance. I can just run. So now let's see if you guys do that. Let's move a little further away. Great. There we go. Let's show that different angle. This time now, sorry, I'm going to be facing that wall, please. Good. Remember, you always have to drag your hands on the floor and hold the heels, never above the heel. It makes it easier to pull, make the person lose the balance. Another self-defense move from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Someone is holding your neck this way, okay? One thing, we believe that this is a very threatening situation. Holding the neck of this kid here seems like I can choke him, but in fact, what I have is 2 thumbs against his neck. Seems like I have more threats, which is not true. How is he going to defend that? It's easy. All he's going to do now is move one of his leg back, creating a base, move his head down between my arms, and he's out. And I can try it again, holding even harder this time, and he does what he has to do to defend. I'm not going to be able to hold him. He can either face me or run away. Now, let's try that with him for you to watch. Same thing, let's move this way. I'm holding his neck here, he moves one leg back, makes his base, and he's out. Now, let's see you guys doing that. There you go. There you go. Remember, whenever you're teaching that, make sure you teach them to move their leg, one leg back, create balance, and move their head away. That might be a situation that might happen in school, a bully situation, and they know how to escape pretty well without even having the need to hurt the other person. Just to show they can escape it. Everything's going to be all right.